Hi everyone, welcome to the seventh edition of Zero to Somewhere. And last week I wrote a post about how I built a small screen for our flat that shows the departure times for all the metros and trams close to our flat. And I posted the post onto Reddit and it got quite a nice reception, which I'm happy for. It's been a long time since any one of my blogs had any sort of traffic, so always nice to have some. I also wrote the first post on the front end blog about a small issue, and I wanted to make the first post something very small so that I could just write it out really quickly. And this was the idea that I came up with. And I didn't share that on social media or anything because I felt that I needed to add a few more things to the blogs. So I added syntax highlighting. I added support for comments via Discourse. Discourse is a forum server, let's say, similar to PHPB or some of these other bulletin boards that used to be very popular back in the day. And I thought of going about it this way because I thought it would be useful just to have a forum where I could collect feedback about the apps or the blogs that I am working on. Because in the past, with the apps that I shared with my friends, and there was no way for them to give me feedback. There was no way for them to raise it, like bugs or suggestions. And I think a forum would be a great way to do that, for to just collect feedback and observe how people are using the app. So that's why I set up this forum. And after all of this, I had a long thought about strategy, about the approach I'm taking in this in my journey to be self-employed. And so far, it's been around 2 months since I started, and it's apparent to me already that the code mentor or the mentoring online thing is not going to work. Um, I tried last week as well, and I just was not able to get any gigs whatsoever. It might just be that I super suck at writing these proposals, and everyone keeps turning me down, or it's also more likely that there's just too much competition and I'm not able to stand out enough compared to all the other people on the platform. And also, it would take me, like, it's already taking me a lot of time just to write prospects, like, just to write proposals to potential mentees. And I think even if I was able to get some prospects, it would still be difficult to get enough prospects to make the whole process worthwhile. Because the whole reason I'm doing this too is to have some small income that would support me, but to have even the amount necessary for us to just for a month would take a lot of effort, and I think it would take a lot of time to just find enough people to do that, find enough mentees to do that. So I started looking into alternatives. One of the alternatives I found was the were some part-time positions in Prague coding boot camps. And while those seemed like a good approach, I then got to thinking about the whole purpose of this whole venture. And really, the whole purpose of this venture is to build useful, helpful apps and helpful content, and hopefully make enough money to live off that. And I quit my job so that I would have more time to actually work on these things. And trying to find work part time is actually taking time away again. So I tried to find some work because I think the real issue for me was getting used to not having any income. It's really funny how much I've gotten used to having a paycheck, let's say, having some money being dropped into my accounts every month, and not having that is quite stressful, especially when I know that the amount that I have saved is finite, is like it will not grow because there's nothing going into it. And now the cost of everything is growing, and it's quite stressful just not having that coming in, and it just feels quite bad to burn the savings. So that's why so far I was trying to find ways to slow that down, to either find some other way to earn income. But this whole thing really is an investment. Like I have to really burn some money um, before anything could take off. And if it does take off, it will be worth a lot more than the money that I put in. So I think for now, it's worth it for me to really focus on making the most of my time and focus entirely on just building the audience and building the products, building the apps, rather than trying to slow my burn rate. And if that becomes a concern, which it might in a couple of months, I can always go back to it. But for now, I think there's some time before I really need to be worried about burning money. So I thought a lot about the way I would go about this from now. And the core strategy for me right now is just to write as much content as possible around front-end development, post it to the front-end blog, try to build an audience around front-end development, and then try to sell a product to that audience. Probably maybe some kind of info product, an ebook or a course. And I think this strategy is definitely proven. A lot of people have gone through with it and have gotten it to work. So it's relatively straightforward. It just requires time and a lot of content and effort to build the content for it. So that's the primary strategy, because let's say it's a safe bet. And at the same time, I will attempt to build small apps in the front end space specifically. And this is the difference compared to before, because before I didn't have a specific domain. I focused basically on anything that I was interested in, which is a lot of things besides front-end development, which including, let's say, time management or productivity. And the reason why I want to focus on front-end development is just because with the blog itself, I'll be able to promote the apps that I built to the people who come to the blog. And in any other domains, I have no way to promote the things that I built. And that's really the hardest parts about these apps, is just letting the world know that it exists. And at least by staying in one area, which is front-end development or web development in general, I have more opportunity to just mix and match. Like I have the blog, I can promote the app in there. I have the app, I can promote the blog in there somehow, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, so to sum up, I think moving forward, there's just three directions or three pillars that I am working on. The first one being the front-end blog, like I mentioned, and writing content for it and building an audience for it. The second is building small apps, primarily in the front-end space. And ironically, since I've already started working on an app and it's not in the front-end space, I will release it in some form, but I will not focus on it moving forward as an app idea, as something that will make me money, because I think it's really difficult for me to promote it enough to make it worthwhile. So I will release it. Maybe someone will find it and find it useful, but I don't think it'll be enough to sustain me, basically. And then the third pillar is to just keep learning and experimenting, especially about machine learning and the language learning models that have become really popular lately, like GitHub Copilot and ChatGPT. I think this is like a big change in the industry, and I think it's best to get familiar with it as soon as possible for me. And I tried to learn machine learning in the past. I completed an entire book on it, but it never really stuck to my head. So I want to get back to experimenting with it some more, and the end result is for me to be able to build some small machine learning based apps as well. But I think right now I'm quite far from that, so I will just start with experimenting and just using these models to see what they're capable of, and then to sort of inspire me into thinking about what more can be done with it. So that's the third pillar. And with that, yeah, I will stop trying to make income for now, for maybe the next couple of months. And it's time to, I think, for me to double down and just focus on the stuff that really matters, and not on making money for now, at least. Don't know if that makes any sense. Well, don't know if this whole venture makes any sense, but yep, gonna give it a go and let's see how it goes. And catch you guys next time.